All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier iHypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. Today's theme is definitely a moment of reflection, a moment of taking stock, and also in the truest sense, giving and and expressing gratitude for all that has showed up this year. So as I was spending time with the community today, we did a lot of focused work on three things that I want to share with you. One is, of course, to celebrate the wins. So it's so important in the year that was, the year that is now in the process of going by, to take a moment and really celebrate the wins. Celebrate them because, firstly, we had them. If you look back, and we did this last week as well, where you really just scrolling through your phone to the through the pictures in your photo album from Jan of the year and Jan, Feb, March, and so on and so forth. Basically, where you're taking a moment to really um, take in the wins that you had, to celebrate the wins that you had. So the first thing, of course, is to actually take a moment and celebrate the wins. The second thing is, if you're just celebrating the wins, and let's say you're celebrating it alone, that has one kind of feeling to it. But when you're able to celebrate together, so the second point, of course, is to celebrate together. And when you're able to celebrate together, that is when these wins only become sweeter. So, my wish for you, of course, as healers and coaches, is that you are able to celebrate the wins together. I know that in our community, that is something that we're able to do pretty much on a weekly basis and quite often on a daily basis. So, a big shout out and thank you to all of you who show up, whether it's on the live calls, whether it's in our community calls, or even this podcast for that matter, as we've been beaming out every single day, every single month, literally for the last couple of years. And so, a big thank you to each of you that shows up and makes this act of celebrating and this art of celebrating together so much more fun. And lastly, of course, as a reminder, this is the third point, which is that more is coming. So, just a reminder to you that no matter how much you've received this year, or maybe you may feel how little that you've received this year, I just want to remind you that more is coming. So even if you had one victory right through these last 11 and a half months or so at this point, or almost 12 now, just remember that even if you had one, more is coming. If you had multiple victories, more is coming. And so, again, another reminder that make sure that you're celebrating together, whether it's with one person or a community that you're a part of. It's so important to be in the midst of people who you really connect with, and there is that sense and that spirit of being connected. And lastly, of course, like I said, make sure that you celebrate these wins, whether it is buying something nice for yourself, even if it's more as a token, not so much as a unconscious shopping spree, but really being present. And speaking of presence, I did present myself with a bigger screen at this point as at one level as a celebration of the year that was, and so much that has happened, and such powerful victories that people have had to and that have been able to celebrate. And when we get to do it together, that's what makes this process even more amazing. And so I really do wish you all the very best, no matter where you may be at this point on your journey in life. And I will say this till the cows come home: make sure that you are part of a community, some place where you really feel connected and you really feel seen. So having said all of that, of course, as always, remember to live your purpose. And I want to remind you again, that I see you and want to acknowledge you for all the work that you have done right through this year and what is getting ready for the new year ahead. So having said all of that, of course, as always, remember to live your purpose. Before I go, of course, I see we've got Sangeeta here. Thank you for that. Sangeeta says multiple victories, feeling zone, scaling up with consistency, celebrating the wins, are multiple wins. Enjoy the big screen. May we see more of you. Thank you for that. And may I also be able to see more of each of you in all that you are doing and all of who you are showing up as. And Raji, I see you as well. Thank you for tuning in live. And with that, of course, as always, remember to live your purpose. God bless, and of course, I'll see you in the next one.